Hi there, Janet Fritzer for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Mixed Media Mayhem, which we're using stencils, Nuvo, and stamping, and I'm combining that with Scraptember 2023, brought to you by the Scrappy sisters and Laura Alberts. And today's layout, I am doing actually four 4x4s. These are super old photos, 2007, and I did pull out my Nuvo, which I don't ever use, you guys. Um, and I'm gonna see if I can find a new love for it. So these are the Nuvo drops, and they're so old that the tip of them, not the tip, but the neck of them, it was pretty dried up in there. So I'm just kind of cleaning out the nozzle and the neck before I try and squeeze anything through it and jam it up anymore. I'm able to get that all cleaned out, and then I am able to actually use my products. And then I'm starting out with this blue stencil. I don't know where this is from. It's, I think, a home decor stencil. It was in my stash and it has the fleur-de-lis in it, so I definitely want to use that because that's a very scouty thing in case you weren't aware. And so I'm going to go ahead and use this yellow Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, not adhesive, Nuvo drops to put through my stencil because that is actually how I like to use it best. I'm not a big fan of the actual drops as a drop on the page. And I haven't used them in ages. I might try them again and see if they end up being something that I like again or not. But I just found that first of all, it takes them a long time to dry, which isn't a big problem when I'm at home, but when I'm at retreats, it's a problem. And then, or if I'm at a day crop, because then when it's time to go home, everything's still wet. So first, that's my first reason. And then my second reason is when I swatched all of mine, I stuck after my swatch was dry for quite some time, I stuck it in a one of my bins, and papers got set on top of it, and then the tops of them were all flat the next time I pulled it out. It wasn't flat to the page, it was just the rounded top was flatter than it was when I stuck it in the bin. And so I was like, I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather just invest in some enamel dots. But here we are. I'm giving it another try and we will see what happens. The green spray that I'm using there is Dilution's Mushy Peas, and it is the right color for my photograph. These photos are Cub Scouts, and it is a bunch of the dads that were cooking in the kitchen. My husband's in the photo as well. He's actually wearing the yellow shirt that matches these fleur-de-lis. I did use this stamp set. I think it's from Close to My Heart, and it's got a fleur-de-lis also, and so I'm going to stamp that with some Catherine Pooler green ink, and I believe I am using the either matcha or, yeah, I think I'm using matcha as the color, but I really want it to kind of be subtle and in the background and not be super bold. So I'm just going around and stamping it on either side of the yellow one, and then I will stamp one in between the two green ones that are on either side. So it'll be in the four edges of the paper. But you're not going to see it a lot because my ink or my photos are going to cover it up. And then I'm also going to add a little bit more of the Nuvo. So I'm just trying to figure out the placement here. I did find a smaller fleur-de-lis in that same set. It is on the flip side of my acrylic block there. So one is face down, the one that I'm stamping. The other one is face up. So I can just flip it over and finish stamping. And I'm going to stamp in these little areas in between the larger one just to kind of fill it. This layout does not end up as one of my favorites, you guys. I'm gonna be real honest about that. It's okay. It's just not one of my favorites. The colors are super bold, and not that I mind bold colors. If you watch my channel, you'll know I use a lot of bold colors. It's just not my favorite. Um, I don't really have a particular reason why. I think it's just kind of maybe because it looks a little messy, and I do like a cleaner style. Maybe it's the Nuvo, I'm not sure. But it is done, and normally I am of the mindset that if I'm not happy with it, I just keep working on it until I am happy with it. But in this particular case, I thought, it doesn't look bad. It's just not my favorite. So they can't all be favorites, and that's okay. And so I decided to go ahead and just go with it. Um, Maybe if I add a little bit of black to it, I'll like it a little bit better. I'm not 100% sure. So I might play with that a little bit later. But for right now, I'm going to go with it. So again, these photos are super old, and I am going to go ahead and just create a little collage here of all four, a tight grid, if you will. And I am going to have my white paper have a little border all the way around it because I do want it to pop off of all of that mixed media that is on there. And so that makes me pretty happy. Surprisingly, the Nuvo didn't take very long to dry because it's not really chunky like a Nuvo drop would be. It is a very thin layer, and so it dried pretty fast. I am inking all of this up with some black soot distress ink just to kind of bring the colors down a little bit. And I think having that white border around my photos really did help. Now, a lot of times I will cut the edge of my paper off and back it on maybe a black paper or some other color. But in this case, my mixed media was too close to the edge, especially those yellow pieces. I didn't feel like I could cut it down and have it work really well. Now, I did pull out some older wood veneer pieces from MK's shop, and I'm going to use that hamburger. It's an old piece. And then I am going to use these two new pieces. There's a picnic bench or a, signage for like a food eating area. And so I'm going to use that. And then there is a little wooden piece that says picnic area that is an arrow, and I'm going to use that as well. I am using my Nuvo to go ahead and alter this hamburger, and I do really like the way that that looks. The lettuce is going to be green, the cheese is going to be the yellow color, and then I will pull out a Thule Art paint pen to create a brown hamburger patty, a dark brown hamburger patty, because the wood is already brown, but I want it to be a darker color. And then I am leaving the bun the natural wood color, and I like the way that that looks. This is the Thule Art Pen. I will put links to these products down below. Now, I don't even know that the Nuvo is still available in these colors. These were like one of the first rounds that they did. That's how old they are. And so I'm not sure that these colors are available, but if they are, I will try to link those down below as well. I did pull out a couple of pieces from 49 and Market, and then this sticker set is the Simple Stories Lakeside stickers, the labels that were in the sticker book, and so I'm going to use a couple of those as well. And I like the way that that is looking and pairing with this. The colors are all perfect. I did try those green alphas. Those were also from the sticker book from Simple Stories, but I end up going with this yellow one from Bella Boulevard, and these are just flat stickers, but I'm putting them right over the actual photograph because there's not a lot in that photo that can't be covered up without seeing all of those guys' faces, all of the faces of the scout leaders there, and they're kind of goofing off in the kitchen and having a really fun time working. And so I thought I'd go ahead and call this food fun. Um, and then I did ink up a lot of these little labels and stuff with more of the black soot just to make them pop a little bit more. I am using my hamburger in front of the F for fun, and the word food is kind of set on top of that so that it looks like it's part of the title, and I really like that. I really enjoy fun titles that have something different in them, and I think that wood veneer piece um, is doing the job very well there. I don't have a ton to say. I'm going to write few notes in on those labels, but I'm going to kind of leave it otherwise. I'm not going to add a whole bunch of other stuff. Um, I'm just playing with the placement here of all of the labels and stuff. I'm going to glue those down with some Nuvo because the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive will hold it on top of all of that mixed media, whereas my ATG won't hold as well. I did use some glue dots or Zotz Bling to hold the wood veneer down, or the acrylic piece. I think it's acrylic, the little arrow one that says Picnic Fun. It looks like wood on the top because it has a wood finish on it, but the rest of it I believe is acrylic. So I'm using my um, glue dots to hold that. It holds a little bit better, especially on the photos. And then I'm just going to use my liquid glue to hold everything down and I like the way that that is looking. I did also use the liquid glue on the wood veneer. I feel like it holds well because the wood veneer is porous, and so it holds that nicely. I am adding this little heart that is a plaid that has the green, the brown, and the orange in it, and I think that works nice. And I think the orange plays nicely with everything because the hamburger has a tomato in it, which is kind of an orangey red, and then some of the other photos have the same color in it, so it pulls out a different color than the yellow and green because I didn't want it to be monochromatic or just the two colors. So little pops here and there really help it out. Don't forget to check out everyone else playing along with Mixed Media Mayhem and with Scraptember. There is a playlist for Scraptember down below, and you can go and join both groups if you are interested in doing so. And then we invite you to play along with Mixed Media Mayhem every Friday now, so you can join in and go to the albums for that inspiration. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I will see you guys again real soon with another video. Bye-bye.